It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast for this, the 29th day of September 2022. Of course, we still got to talk about now currently a tropical storm Ian. We've got some more cruise cancellations. We got what I think is going to be a big screw up with another cruise ship. We also have soon to be Hurricane Orlene. And that's not where you think it's going to be. The Godmother was named for the Carnival celebration. Barbados removes their restrictions. And another hotel enters the cruise business. These stories and a lot more here at 11 o'clock this morning. Today, by the way, is National Coffee Day. So in lieu of that, this morning to celebrate that, I had an extra cup of coffee. Unlike many of you guys that can drink coffee all day and at night, I can drink coffee in the morning. I got to have my coffee in the morning, usually 2 cups. So I had 3 today. But then I can't drink coffee after that. I'll never go to sleep. So I never touch coffee after, I get up early. So after about 6 a.m., that's done. I'm done with coffee for the day. If you're listening via the podcast, always are welcome. Of course, you can access the podcast via my blog, accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. All the big guys, just search for travel and cruise industry news, and up pops the fat travel guy. All right, before we get to the news and the weather and everything we got to talk about today, I mean, there's just a couple things I got to point out. Number one, information I have is there were places in Florida that this was a once in 1,000 years rain event. Now, that's not counting the storm surge event. It's still going on. The rain event that's still going on in parts of Florida. It's soon to leave Florida and go out in the Atlantic and head for the coast of South Carolina and come back for another landfall, possibly as a hurricane again. Of course, the news broke just a little while ago this morning that the causeway, the bridge that connects Fort Myers and Sanibel Island is out. There's people on Sanibel Island that can't get out. Nobody can get over there now. So that's going to present a problem. There's, as they get in the Fort Myers, that county down there, I forget the name of the county. They're just now getting in to assess some of the damages, and they're very much afraid that there's going to be some substantial loss of life there. They don't know that yet. There's nothing confirmed yet, but the news coming from there today, it could be just awful. So my thoughts are with all those folks as well. We do have one a very interesting situation ongoing that I'll get to real quickly, but it deals with the Port of Miami and the Carnival Sunrise. We'll get to that in a minute. But before I get to the news, I got to take a quick break for one of our network sponsors. I'll be back real quickly, shortly. All right, we got of course to talk about the weather situation, and now Tropical Storm Ian is still expected to bring strong winds, heavy rains, Strong storm surge across portions of Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas. There's a storm surge warning in effect from Flagler-Volusia County line to the mouth of South Santee River, the St. Johns River. There's also a tropical storm warning in effect for north of Bonita Beach to Indian Pass, Florida, from Jupiter Inlet, Florida, to Cape Lookout, North Carolina, and Lake Okeechobee. There's a storm surge watch in effect for north of South Santee River to Little River Inlet. A hurricane watch is in effect for Flagler-Volusia County line to the South Santee River. The last numbers that I had for this, the center of Tropical Storm Ian was about 40 miles east of Orlando, about 10 miles west of Cape Canaveral. Ian is moving toward the northeast about 8 miles an hour. A turn to the north-northeast is expected later today, followed by a turn toward the north and northwest with an increase in forward speed by tomorrow or tomorrow night. And this is the path that she's heading in. So there's probably going to be another landfall somewhere on the South Carolina coast. They do not think, because of the weird wind shear situation, that it's going to reform to a hurricane, but it's going to be very close. So by the time it hits South Carolina, it could be a very strong tropical storm somewhere, in the 70 mile an hour wind speed. So just a few miles an hour short of hurricane force. The center of Ian is expected to move off the east central coast of Florida, then approach South Carolina tomorrow. The center will move further inland across the Carolinas tomorrow night and Saturday. Currently, the maximum winds have decreased to about 65 miles an hour with higher gusts. Some slight re-intensification is forecast, and Ian could be near hurricane strength when it approaches South Carolina on Friday. Weakening is expected Friday night and Saturday after Ian moves inland. Tropical storm force winds extend 415 miles from the center. Did you hear that number, folks? 415 miles. That's how huge this storm is. Estimated central pressure is 987. That's an unbelievable number for a tropical storm. Of course, there's still storm surge to deal with. A lot of the storm surge now is caused by rivers and stream flooding, where basically the offshore flow is holding the rivers up now. And with all the rain you've had in those areas, that's causing this surge and the rise in waters now more than being pushed ashore by the coast. A little different situation than it was yesterday. Same result, unfortunately. Rainfall totals northwest Florida, coastal Georgia, and low country of South Carolina can get up to 12 more inches. Upstate and central South Carolina, North Carolina, and southern Virginia, 3 to 6 inches, with areas of 8 inches across western North Carolina. Of course, widespread, life-threatening, catastrophic flash and urban flooding will continue across central Florida. Considerable flash, urban, and river flooding is expected across other portions of northeast Florida, southeastern Georgia, and eastern South Carolina tomorrow through the weekend, and possible flooding across Appalachia, where landslides will be possible as well. There's still a chance of tornadoes in east central and northeast Florida through tomorrow morning. This threat will shift into coastal Carolinas tomorrow. And of course, you've got basically surf and rip conditions on all areas along the coast, still on both coasts of Florida. All right, the current port report. Now, this, I have to tell you, folks, to be perfectly transparent, this was as of about 30 minutes ago. Miami and Fort Lauderdale are still on condition Yankee, but I am reasonably sure at least Miami is now back to open. However, I have not had that confirmed yet, but I'll tell you why in just a second. That, of course, means that when it's at Yankee, that means the port will remain open, but no ships over 500 gross tons, like cruise ships, are allowed in and out. Tampa Bay, Port Canaveral, and Jacksonville are all condition Zulu, which means they're closed. All right, cruise changes since yesterday. Mariner of the Seas cruise today is canceled. The cruise for today will now sail on October 1st and will be shorter, a 2-day cruise rather than a 4-day cruise. Independence of the Seas will not be setting sail as planned tomorrow. Like Mariner of the Seas, the ship will now depart on the 1st, on Saturday, and return Monday, October the 3rd, as per the original schedule. The September 30th sailing of Carnival Liberty is now canceled. Disney has canceled tomorrow's sailing of the Disney Wish. Now, here's the one that caused a little controversy today. Carnival informed guests booked on today's Carnival Sunrise sailing out of Miami to arrive at the terminal 2 hours later than scheduled. Now, here's where I had a problem with that, folks. They informed them of that while the port was still closed. The Carnival Sunrise was sailing around in circles off the coast of Miami, where you could not even see the skyline of Miami from the ship until about 10 o'clock. I know because I was in conversation with someone on Carnival Sunrise who kept me informed that they had no idea what was going on and that they were told that they would be heading to Miami shortly and would sail as normal. Now, my question about this whole thing, yes, the port apparently is now open because the Sunrise has gone into the port of Miami. So the Coast Guard had to open it to let them in. So all those people that have been on the Carnival Sunrise are going to disembark. Are they going to be able to go anywhere? I have no idea what the airport situation is like over there yet. I have no idea if flights are coming in and out yet. I don't know. I know there's only not a whole lot of driving around Florida. I mean, you've still got half the state or more that's in the middle of Hurricane Ian and the after effects of Hurricane Ian. So how are people going to get into Miami to get on the next sailing or to get home from this sailing? I just have a feeling that this is going to be one of a cluster, you know what, today with the Carnival Sunrise. That's my opinion, nobody else's. But something tells me that this is going to cause some problems over there in Miami today. I hope not, but I'm wondering how the people are going to get in and out of the port today. And I realize Miami didn't have, the same kind of damage and problems that Tampa Bay had or that Port Canaveral has had today. But still, wow. And of course, it was Lee County. I couldn't remember the name of the county. Was where the landfall occurred and probably the most severe damage with probable loss of life. Currently, they are trying to access the damage and need of rescue operations. That's going on now. That's how they actually discovered at first light this morning that the causeway was out to Sanibel Island. So, all right, let's put Ian to bed for the day. How's that? So, well, there is one other thing to talk about. 11 out there, Tropical Depression 11, is not going to go anywhere. Despite the warnings and all that business, it's going to be another day or two and it's just going to go away. So we don't have to worry too much about that. That does bring us up to the West Coast. All right. This is Tropical Depression has strengthened to Tropical Storm Orlene. The center of Tropical Storm Orlene was about 295 miles south of Manzanilla, Mexico, of course. Orlene is moving toward the west-northwest, about 13. This motion is expected to continue over the next day or so. A turn to the north is forecast to occur tomorrow, and this motion should continue over the weekend. Currently, the sustained winds are 40 miles an hour with higher gusts. Steady strengthening is forecast, and Orlene is expected to become a hurricane by tomorrow afternoon or evening. And this is the cone of uncertainty for that, but sometime tomorrow, so it'll still be off the coast as it becomes a hurricane and have a chance to buck up a little strength before it reaches landfall, somewhere. It should be somewhere south of the tip of Baja California. Of course, you're going to have some effects at Cabo and, the lower part of Baja California, but not the direct effect. It doesn't look at this time. Tropical storm winds only extend about 35 miles currently on this one. Now, that could grow some. The estimated pressure is still 1,006, but that's going to drop substantially between now and tomorrow. And there is, surf, large swells that are generated by Orlene that's going to affect the coast of southwestern and southern Mexico and the extreme southern portion of Baja California Peninsula over the weekend. So be aware of life-threatening surf and rip current conditions. All right. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm getting sick and tired of talking about the weather all the time. And I know we didn't talk about it most of the summer, but enough's enough. Let's put this season to bed and go on. Head to Christmas. Wow. All right, this was a pretty cool story. This is something that normally means absolutely nothing to me. But Carnival Cruise Line has announced who will be the godmother for the newest cruise ship, Carnival Celebration. Continuing a family tradition, the daughter of Kathy Lee Gifford, actress Cassidy Gifford, has been given the honor. Kathy Lee Gifford served as godmother of the original Carnival Celebration, was Carnival spokesperson for 20 years, appeared in countless commercials, and was given the opportunity to be the one who broke the news to her daughter. Cassidy Gifford is no stranger to Carnival Cruise Line. Ever since she was an infant, she sailed on many cruises with her mom and her dad, the late Frank Gifford, who was an NFL and sports broadcasting legend. Kathy Lee said, "When I got married and had my kids, they joined me on many television shoots on Carnival ships, so we had lots of terrific memories." I thought that was a pretty good story, and I usually don't give a flying you know what about godmothers of cruise ships, and they crack a bottle and yeah, go away. Get the boat so I can get on it and sail someplace. But I thought that was a pretty good story. All right, Barbados was the latest folks to drop all their travel restrictions. They've removed all entry requirements, which means anyone can now enter the country without needing a negative test result. The move by the Barbadian government has already gone into effect and applies to all land and cruise ship visitors. The new protocols are expected to boost the local economy, with many small business owners wholly dependent on the many cruise ships that typically visit the island year-round. And finally, folks, I don't know about this one. Just ahead of the launch of the Ritz-Carlton Yacht Collection, which their first vessel is finally supposed to get going next month, another luxury hotel brand has announced it's getting into the cruise business, and that would be Four Seasons. The company new cruising venture will be called Four Seasons Yachts, bringing together Nadim Ashi and Philip Levine, luxury entrepreneurs and visionaries of the experience the brand wants to provide, along with leading shipbuilder Fincantieri. The first Four Seasons vessel will be 679 feet long, 88 feet wide, with 14 decks. Each suite will cost $4.2 million with no expense spared. The vessel will provide nearly 50% more living space per guest than is currently available on any ship at sea. What the hell is that going to cost? I have a feeling, Hot Air Tom, maybe you can afford to get a suite on that one when it comes out, but I can't. So, wow. I I know about all kinds of what I consider expensive boutique cruises now. This one's got to blow those out of the water. $4 million per suite cost. Wow. All right. That ends the news portion of today's show. Don't forget, we got the Cruise Amigos coming up at 1 o'clock my time. That's 1 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. That's 12 o'clock Central Daylight Time for Amigo John out there in Minnesota. And of course, 6 p.m. British summertime for Amigo Martin over there in Manchester, England. And hopefully all three of us will be there today. Of course, we never know until a minute before we go on air. I hope Martin's going to be there. I haven't heard from him this morning, but we'll hope for it. Anyway. All right, let's see who's in the chat room and what mistakes I've made today. Who knows? Hot Air is with us from the NCL Prima. Canceled his go-kart appointment so he could attend to the show. Well, I have a feeling you canceled the go-kart appointment because it's windy and they're allowed to blow you off the track. But that's okay. We're glad you're with us, Hot Air Tom. It was way too windy and cold to be on. Okay. All right, that's more like it. It was too windy and too cold to be on top of the ship. I understand. Mike's with us. Hi, Mike. There's Lizzie. Hi, Lizzie. I hope you guys went over and I hope you guys went over to Lizzie's channel and checked out her dailies. I just love the way she does those dailies. They're fantastic. They really are. Dennis is with us. Hello, Dennis. Good to have you here. There's Pittsburgh Jason. It's heading toward you, Chillie. Yeah, we're supposed to get 2 to 4 inches here. We'll have to see. I mean, we've had these forecasts before, and they don't come this way at all. So let's see what happens ahead. I'm not overly worried about it yet. I'm not, 2 to 4 inches, that's not that much, and it's not going to be that windy either. So, but yeah, it might be coming up. Lee County. Thank you, Dennis. I couldn't remember that. At my age, you start getting forgetful, and I'm very forgetful because I'm not familiar with enough with the counties in Florida as I should be. But yeah, I had it in my notes. I just hadn't gotten to my notes yet. Anyway, thank you, Dennis. 987 is not bad. 945 is scary. Isn't that the truth? I mean, that's it. Well, anytime you're under 1,000, you could be in trouble. But yeah, clearly that yesterday was scary. Has the St. Johns River in Jacksonville flooded? The last I heard, there was some local area flooded, but I don't know that the river has flooded yet. Blaine's with us. Hey, Blaine, how you doing? Good to see you again. I hope Jamie from Weekends at Disney gets a Disney cruise out of Port Canaveral. Was that the one that was supposed to sail tomorrow? If it was tomorrow's, that one's been canceled. Anyway, one of the Disney Wish cruises is canceled. Let me see if I can find out which one that was real quick. Let's see. Do I have that? I have that someplace. If I can put mine. Tomorrow's sailing. That's what I thought it was. Tomorrow's sailing of the Disney Wish is canceled. So I don't know which one that was, Dennis. Amazing how many people didn't evacuate. Yeah, because they thought the evacuation was being so thorough, and really there was a lot of people that stayed behind. Not good to stay in category 4 when it hit. No, it's not. And I realize that people hate to leave their homes and all that. I understand the problems with that, but still, you got to consider life. And the other problem is, so you get stuck, and then you got to top first responders and the emergency personnel that could be helping people that need help more than you did just because you were stubborn and didn't leave. Yeah, it's bad. There we go. Nikki has the answer. Jason, greetings from a damp Jacksonville. Not too bad here. 13 inches in the last 24 hours. Wow. Oh, 1.3 inches. I'm sorry. I missed the point. 1.7 in the next 24. Winds 28. Expected 39. Plus, St. Johns River has risen 2 feet. Haven't heard about flooding. I hadn't either. So that's good. Dennis says Florida is a horribly run state. I know several people down there that will agree with that. So I doubt the state provided proper guidance. I'm avoiding an investment in that state because I have watched the decline over the decades, still enjoying visiting though. Yeah, I try not to get political on this show myself, although I reserve the right to be straight up and honest about my feelings as when any politician on either side does anything that affects the cruise industry. So there were times that I fussed at Trump. There have been times that I was upset with Biden over issues that affected us. And I'm glad that Biden has been working with the governor down there, because this is a situation where we throw politics away. Yeah, there are problems inherent in Florida for years of mismanagement. I agree with that. But yeah. So, but right now, we won't fuss about politics until let's get these people fixed. So, and I'm not being critical, Dennis. I'm just telling you my feelings about the political situation down there. Wonder what the West Coast states would do, talking about horribly run places, drowned homeless might be a good thing. Ooh, gross. Hot air, Tom. Jason looks like Carnival Paradise is taking its time returning to Tampa. Carnival Paradise is still in Cozumel, and they're not going to go back to Tampa until the port's open, and the port was still closed, again, as of a half hour before I got on the air. So if she has sailed from Cozumel, means that the captain has gotten information that Tampa Bay will be opening today or is open. And I have not I didn't get any notifications on anything opening this morning, and I know Miami has to be. Chillie Cruises, you need to do that. Jason can get a second job. I need to do what? Oh, I need to go on that expensive cruise? Yeah, no. I have a feeling that would wipe me out. And Jason doesn't, my Jason, I thought you were talking about Pittsburgh Jason. My Jason ain't gonna get a second job. And, and I'm not gonna take all of my money to go on one cruise. Ain't happening. Or I would be on a world cruise right now. So, yeah, no. I'd like to do that. And boy, if we get some sponsors, I keep telling Jason, don't worry about sponsors for the show. Let's get a sponsor for a cruise. Let's get sponsors for a world cruise, or sponsors for a South American cruise, or sponsors for a circumnavigate Africa cruise. I'll do that. That would be wonderful. I'll broadcast every day from around the world. That would be terrific. As long as I got a good Wi-Fi. All right. Maybe we need to get Elon Musk to sponsor this and let me have a satellite hoochie manga to broadcast when nobody else can have a Wi-Fi signal. That would be terrific. So, yeah, right. I can dream, can I? 5 p.m. Tom time on the Prima cruise ship. Tom time for the Cruise Amigos on. Yeah, I got you. The Cruise Amigo time on the Prima is 5 p.m. I understand now. Sometimes I'm a little slow, Hot Air Tom. Hot Air says, how's Katie? Katie was without power. She was still without power the last I saw, but she's not in a flooding situation. So that's good. Disappointed you canceled the go-karts, Hot Air. Yeah, Hot Air, we were kind of looking forward to you on the go-karts. Katie said lost power, but doing fine. Lots of wind, lots of rain in the Orlando area. Oh, not really a cancel. Moved it to Saturday at 3 o'clock. Did them 2 times already. Where's the pictures? Where's the proof? Yeah, you need to drive with one hand and film it with the other, or something. Get somebody to film it and we'll do a live stream of you on a go-kart. Now, that would be pretty cool. Cindy, can you operate his phone? Maybe we can do a live stream on Sunday of him making a fool out of himself on the go-kart. I'd like that. Yeah, make sure to go live on the go-kart. We got to work on that one, Jason. We're going to work on that one, I promise you. Stay young, Chillie. Dennis, I try, for an old fart. I'm doing everything I can. I'm tired of being home. I've been home a week now. I'm ready to go again. And I'm going to be home for a month this time. I leave the next time on the 23rd or something. I don't know. I can't keep up with my schedule. I'll look at a couple days ahead and say, oh my God, I got to pack. I'm leaving tomorrow. That's about when I get ready for a cruise anymore. Nikki says, hi, Katie, did your power come back on? Sorry about that, folks. Tickle. I've been talking entirely too much this week. Don't mean to be coughing in your ear. The airports are usually a nightmare. I cannot imagine how much worse it's going to be. Oh, yeah, that was my thought exactly. Getting off a cruise ship today and going to an airport today, it's got to be horrendous. Or, obviously the airports were closed yesterday. So anybody that, had planned flying in the day before, like most people do, and stay overnight so they're there, they couldn't get in yesterday. So are they going to be able to fly in today to get on this? I don't know. I think it's going to be a major cluster, in Miami. Katie says there's power where she lives, but not at her sister's. Haven't heard when the power will come back on. Elon Starlink is on some cruise ships already. Yeah, it's a couple of the Royal Caribbean ships. Speaking of Elon Musk, you missed a K there, Hot Air Tom. I'm trying to think. Spearing. I figured out. Speaking of Elon Musk, lots of Teslas in Iceland. Hot Air needs a GoPro. Yeah, I almost bought a GoPro once, and then somebody says, I don't like the GoPro. 50 other people have said they love them. Cindy says, way too cold to go outside. Okay, Cindy, I understand. Katie, go to the G Florida resort and hang out in the lobby. Lots of activities happening there, including character meet and greets and doggy parade. Yeah, I saw a family interview that was staying in one of the hotels, and they said that the Disney folks just went overboard to make them welcome and keep things going for the kids, even though the resorts were closed. I mean, Mickey and Minnie and Goofy and I don't know who all came to visit them in the hotels, and they did all kinds of stuff in the hotels. I'm just really impressed with the Disney, what Disney's done through this. Brooklyn in the house. Hey, Eddie, good to have you here. Says, good morning, everybody. Does Disney is staying at the, does Hot Air Tom stay at, I don't know. I think he's got a timeshare someplace down there over closer to Port Canaveral, but not in Orlando. I think this. Jason knows what I'm saying when I say cluster. And no, I'm not going to say that on the air because that'll definitely blast me off of everything. I'll be in Facebook and YouTube jail forever. Katie, reminder, if you need fuel, the Speedway petrol places have fuel and power for the pumps. Oh, Grand Floridian. I see. G Florida. Grand Floridian. Okay, see, Dennis, I'm not in Florida. I'm in Florida to get on cruise ships. I've never been to Disney, to be perfectly honest. I know. I got to do that. And one of these, I keep saying one of these times when I'm driving down there, I'm going to give myself enough time to do some things on the way down. And I never do. So, oh, Tom Does Disney is a channel. Oh. Okay, now I'm catching up. I thought you were talking about our hot air Tom. All right, Dennis, I'm with you now. Dennis, sometimes it's 4 feet over my head, and I just try to keep on, trugging along. All right, you keep me in line, Dennis. I appreciate you being here because you do keep me in line a lot more than these other guys do. They all try to get me in trouble. So anyway, yeah, Speedway is on Walt Disney World properties. I knew that because we talked about that yesterday or day before. One day we talked about that. So anyway, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Again, we got a busy day today at 1 o'clock my time, 1 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. We got the Cruise Amigos at 2 o'clock my time. We've got the Passion for Cruises / Cruises for Solos group, which is our buddy Pete and Allison and me and Mr. Bucket List and and crew, Lizzie, the whole gang. So we're going to be looking at the Passion for Cruises thing. I don't know if there's going to be any news for the U.S. yet. I don't think there is. But one day soon, that's going to happen. Maybe there'll be some news on that. I don't know. But anyway, that'll be it too. So I'm really going to I'm going to get a little bit of break here after this show. And then it's, 2 literally back to back. I'll leave Cruise Amigos and go straight to the other one. So join me for both. So I'm going to be busy this afternoon. All right, guys. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Same time, same place for Friday's Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast. As always, guys, stay safe, especially now. Stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a fantastic day. I'll see everybody for Cruise Amigos at 1 o'clock. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.